Good evening, everybody. Today is Wednesday, April 29th. Today was a fantastic day. I finished the day, I did a whopping 18 trades today. I finished 11 of 18. Had a couple snags in the morning. Could have been a really good day. But I'm going to take you through not all the trades. I'm just going to take you through a few interesting ones and kind of how they played out for the most part. And yeah, we'll take you through them. So I'm going to take you through NIO and NVAX today. So let's go through NIO. Basically, the morning opened up and waited for this 50 while scanning stocks to kind of settle down, and I felt that it was settling down here. And you can see that it's basically came down and looks like it was flattening out the 50 and maybe ready to go the other way. And what I had noticed was that there was a W playing out here, and I went long. Basically, it was actually on this candle. So we'll move that forward a little bit. So I went long. So I went long on this candle. So there's the wick was the first candle. So what had happened was someone was asking me in my YouTube videos, do I market buy or limit buy, and how do I do it? And this is a good example of having a bad fill or a bad buy because I wasn't paying attention. So being a little foggy this morning, I wasn't watching the bid and the ask. I only market buy. And the reason why I only market buy is because when you're trading a stock and $13 and whatever amount you're buying, so it's 2,000 shares, it fills relatively quickly. Sometimes I'm buying 1,000 shares, etc. So they fill rather quickly, and the moves are rather quick. So I find when I'm limit buying, I'll miss the move by a couple pennies, or I'm trying to get a little greedy, and basically I just kind of want to be in and out. And here is an example where I wasn't watching the bid and the ask. And because these are Heikin-Ashi candles, the candle doesn't necessarily represent where the price is inside the candle at that moment. So what had happened was I bought in this candle, but it bought the top of the wick. I thought I was buying down here. So I started my move from the top of this candle, which was not the idea. And basically it came down, came up, and then I got this wick here up and then down, and I sold at a 6-cent loss. Sold on the second candle. So I even waited for the first doji, sold on the second candle for a 6-cent loss. And that was a little bit frustrating because the buy rattled me a little bit. And so I shook that off and I waited, and I saw this thing just continuing to move up, and I looked down here and I get the TTM looks fantastic, the MACD and the RSI. So I went long again, except I did the exact same thing here. Bought at the top of the candle, they started to go lower again. And now I'm rattled from the first trade, and I got a doji and I sold and lost 5 cents on this trade. And what's more embarrassing is that this whole run is a day maker. Like, that's 48 cents on, I think, like 3,800 shares or so that I buy on NIO, and that I would have been done for the day. And so, just not being prepared and not being ready and kind of maybe in the right headspace, and it spun me around pretty quickly this morning. So 2 negative trades, and just remember to pay attention when you're doing market buys to where the price actually is relative to the candle, and check your bid and your ask, and just keep a close eye on those, because I got burnt twice today by not paying attention first thing in the morning. So this guy carried up, bounced off of here, came down and tested this 15 EMA, and then started to come up again. And on the good momentum, what happened was I noticed that it was coming down, the momentum, but the price was coming up. So it hit in divergence, and I bought it. I bought it on this candle, and I picked up a quick 7 cents, and I felt that this could have been a double top, so that's why I had the line up there, and I just played it as such, and I took a quick 7 cents to get a little bit of this back. So that made me feel a little bit better about that. It was a quick little trade, nothing spectacular. Let's come down the line here on NIO later in the day. So after we had this kind of 50 come down again, where you end up playing pops, I was just waiting and waiting, and now we see 3 good mountains and the trend's starting to change. That 50 takes a little while to change, right? It's the slow, longer moving average where your 15 is clearly like the trend line of what's happening. So I saw W again, and I went long. So after we broke this area here, I went long and took it right up, and I took it up. It was actually right into this fib here, so right against it. 16 cents, so it was a very good trade. Super happy with it. This part of the day kind of changed things for me. And then after this, bounced off the fib, came down again. Right, I could see where we were, and once we reclaimed this 25 fib, I went long again and sold it for another 9 cents. So another good trade, sold right against the fib, and I could have got a little bit more out of it. Let's move that out of the way. Could have got a little bit more out of it, but completely fine with taking the 9 cents. And that was a fantastic two trades in INO. There's one other trade here. I don't think it's on INO. I played INO at the end of the day. Yeah, I took a couple cents, just a couple pops at the end of the day. Nothing spectacular, just momentum. I want to show you NVAX. So this was kind of cool. I thought I would show you this too. Just gotta find where this happened. Here we go. So scrolling through my watch list, and that's what I do when I'm looking for a trade sometimes, is I'll be scrolling through and I'm looking for what's in an uptrend on the 50. So if I'm scrolling through my watch list and the 50 is heading downwards, I'm not interested in it. I'll just keep scrolling and scrolling for something that's setting up for something, for something that I like to play. I was scrolling through and I noticed this was kind of heading upwards or flattening out, and I noticed a bunch of big candles. So I came in and I draw my fibs. I draw, bottom of the flagpole, top of the flagpole, bottom of the flag. And this could actually, might have to be right here to be accurate. Let's put this here. There we go. So I see what's happening here. We're getting some bigger than usual, these candles. I saw big wicks, so I'm figuring that something's going on, and I start watching this. And what had happened was, after this big candle came up and got rejected up here, and pushed back down and continued, I was just watching the momentum. And then typically I'll notice that, you get a push off here and then a fib comes down, but this wasn't letting up. So when it didn't let up here and didn't let up here, and then wasn't letting up here, I decided to go long. So I went long on this candle, and then I set a stop loss just below right here. And the reason I did this was the fib was holding up so strong. It took this huge volume here that you can see down there. So whack, just a big candle, and started to play resistance 1, 2, and now the third one, and now the fourth. So I set a little stop, and I said, this thing has such a good signal on the TTM, the MACD, and the RSI. It's gotta break through it. So I set the stop loss in case I was wrong, but I wasn't. I felt good about the momentum on the trade. And the next big candle, look at that volume, just absolutely huge. And I was able to take this for 10 cents. So right into this candle and then let it go. So from here, held it, bang, and the next candle was really big, and picked up 10 cents right there. So that was a real cool trade on NVAX, and that was more based on just the trend of the momentum. And so that was kind of cool, I thought. Here, because we had the big candles, the big run here, there was some consolidating. And after it took this fib with a big candle, I just went long again. So I saw another big piece of volume and figured it would last. And I picked up a quick 7 cents there because everything looked, looked good. We had this was crossing the MACD, RSI was up, and we went from a negative in terms of the downtrending positive momentum, and it turned positive again, so it was increasing. And so I felt comfortable to take this long for 7 cents. So those were my bigger trades on the day. Like I said, I finished 11 for 18, but a great day overall, just down 2,000, or just under 2,000. And yeah, those are my trades, and I hope they help. And thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day, and good luck.